Rốt có bà làm này nữa.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all so much for joining us here at Toyota Elephant Passage, brought to you by your Front Range Toyota stores. My name is Adam. I'm the guy standing on top of the waterfall. Joining with me is one of our animal care specialists for elephants. That's Jeff over there. Say hello to Jeff, everyone. And then, of course, we have one of our elephants, and he's saying hello to you all. Hello.
Oh my god.
Does anyone know the name of our elephant joining us? This is Jake. Well done. Jake is one of 6 elephants that lives here at the zoo. They can be a little bit hard to tell apart from each other. They all just sort of look like elephants. For Jake, he is a slightly different color, but if he's not standing next to any of our other elephants, he's just sort of elephant colored. The best way I like to tell him apart is his ears. If you look at both of his ears, the tops and the sides fold backwards, which I know sounds like a very subtle way to tell such large animals apart from one another, but a lot of our elephants have ears that fold in different directions, and for Jake's, his fold backwards. And now that you know this is Jake, you can say hi to him maybe later today or on your next visit. Here at the Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance, we are a leader in elephant care, hi buddy. And we're able to share the success we've had housing our 6 male Asian elephants, which by the way, is the largest herd of male elephants in all of North America. We're able to share that success with other zoos around the country, as well as our conservation partners around the world. And a big reason for that success comes down to these training sessions. That is excellent from Jake. We use a very specific style of training here at the zoo, something called operant conditioning with a focus on positive reinforcement, which is a whole lot of big words that I'm going to break down. It basically means that whenever we're doing training with any of our animals, including our elephants, we're always asking if they would like to participate. That ask might be a hand signal, it might be a verbal signal like a word, it might be both, but it is always an ask. Meaning, if Jake doesn't feel like doing training today, that is totally fine. It is always up to him. And not only is it his choice whether he wants to do training, it is his choice on how he wants to spend his day in general, just like you all have that same exact choice. Raise your hand for me if you love coming to the zoo. That's pretty good. I can't count very fast, so I'm just going to count that with everybody. Now raise your hand for me if sometimes instead we just want to relax with a movie. And it's okay, we can be honest. Alright, we have some moviegoers. So whether you're a moviegoer, a zoogoer, or both, you have that choice on how you like to spend your day. Our elephants have that same exact choice. So whether Jake wants to come and hang out with us, do some training, get some tasty snacks, maybe he just wants to hang back, relax, and munch down on some hay. It is always up to him. However, these training sessions are important for a few reasons. One is it's a great time, as I'm sure you've been able to tell, for our elephants to get in a little bit extra exercise, move around those very large muscles and joints. It's also important for what I like to call brain exercise, as Jake is using his brain thinking about what Jeff might be asking. He's not only flexing his body muscles, he's also flexing his brain muscles as well. Another big reason we do these sessions is they allow our elephants to participate in their own healthcare. As you can probably imagine, it is not easy to get an elephant to the vet. I'll talk about that again in just a moment. First, I'm going to marvel at Jake. That is spectacular. I think that deserves a round of applause. Do we think he's going to try and eat that one bite? Probably. Yep, not a problem. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Having our elephants participate in their own healthcare. As you can probably imagine, it is not easy to get an elephant to the vet. They don't fit through the doors. And so, it's important not just for Jake, but all of our elephants, that they can voluntarily participate in that vet care right here from the comfort of their home. So a lot of the behaviors that you're seeing from him today, like lifting up his legs, allows our animal care specialists like Jeff to get a closer look at different parts of their body. Whether it is lifting up their legs, so we can take a look at their nails or the underside of their feet. Jake weighs in at a whopping 10,000 pounds. And that is so much weight to be putting on those feet all day long. We need to make sure that they're healthy. We may ask him to open up his mouth so we can take a look inside at his teeth to make sure he has a nice, big, healthy elephant smile, especially since he's eating snacks all day long. We can also see how his muscles and joints are moving around. Like when he got all the way down to the ground, that is not easy for 10,000 pounds, or in this good stretch. Seeing how his muscles and joints are moving around, making sure that overall he's a happy and healthy elephant. But along with asking for behaviors out here on the peninsula in front of you all, we can also ask our elephants to participate in longer procedures. Things like getting an elephant pedicure, make sure those feet are healthy, trim up some nails, maybe going to the elephant dentist for a tusk trim. You may notice that Jake's tusks are pretty clearly trimmed. How's that foot looking? Oh, that's great. Those tusks are pretty clearly trimmed. There's a few reasons why we do trim their tusks. Tusks do grow forever. And as they grow longer, they can also grow pointier. And we don't want our elephants to poke themselves or their friends. They are also using their tusks for all sorts of things every single day. Things like digging for food, playing with their friends, carrying around giant logs. And as they use them, they can sometimes chip or even break off larger pieces of their tusks. And that's totally fine. Like I said, it's a normal part of being a boy elephant. What we don't want happening is we don't want any cracks to form after they do break, and for those cracks to go up to the base of their tusks. That's when we start running into some bigger issues, and it also doesn't feel very good. For Jake, specifically, about a month ago, we noticed that he had chipped his right tusk, which, like I said, not a problem. We were able to ask him to come on over, and we sanded down his tusk, make sure that it was looking all good. A few weeks afterwards, though, we were able to take an x-ray of his tusk, look inside, and we did notice a small crack starting to form. So from there, we were able to trim his tusks a little bit more to make sure that that crack didn't exist, and now his tusks are super healthy. We can also do things like blood draws. Blood draws, or getting a little bit of blood from our elephants, is a very important part of taking care of them. They allow us to check for things like disease or germs, make sure they're getting everything they need from their food. We can also check for hormone levels, which may sound a little bit random, but checking the hormone levels of boy elephants is very important. Boy elephants go through seasonal hormonal cycles, and one part of that cycle is called must. Good job, buddy. Must, spelled M-U-S-T-H, is a time when their testosterone, one of their hormones, is very high, about 60 times its normal level. In other words, they're feeling a whole lot of big feelings. And with those big feelings, typically means that they don't want to be around other boy elephants. The issue with that is we only have boy elephants here, so being in must requires a lot more social flexibility. And being able to test their blood for that increase in testosterone allows us to provide that social flexibility, making sure that our elephants aren't just physically healthy, but that they're socially healthy as well. Now, besides the big feelings, another way you can tell an elephant is in must is dripping between their eyes and ears, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. First, just going to watch Jake for just a second. That's spectacular. Again, another big round of applause for Jake. Like I said, that dripping between their eyes and ears, it's something called temporal gland dripping. If you look closely at the sides of Jake's head, you'll notice there is some dripping happening. So right now, Jake is going through must. He's feeling a fair amount of big feelings, although no amount of big feelings are going to get in the way of him and his tasty snacks. Another way to tell they're in must is urine dripping, which I know sounds gross. This all sounds like a lot of dripping, but it is perfectly normal for boy elephants, and it's a good way to let us know that they're going through those healthy hormone cycles. And having healthy Asian elephants is very important because they're an endangered species. There's only about 35,000 of them left in the entire world, including the 6 that live here at the zoo. Now, 35,000 Asian elephants sounds like a lot of elephants, but to put it a little bit more into perspective for you, who here is a Broncos fan? All right, that was not good. Let's move on. Let's pretend everyone's a Broncos fan, and we've all been to the stadium here in Denver for a game in Power Field. That stadium has about 77,000 people. So you compare the 77,000 just in that stadium, that small part of Denver, to the 35,000 Asian elephants across the entire world. Suddenly that's not such a big number anymore. And a big reason for that population decline is due to habitat loss. Specifically because of something called palm oil. Palm oil is something you find in a lot of manufactured items at the grocery store. Things like shampoo, candy, peanut butter. So one of the best ways that you can directly support their conservation, that you can help to protect Asian elephants, is by buying items with sustainable palm oil in them. And a great tool to see which items have sustainable palm oil or not is a free app that you can download on your phone called the Palm Oil Scan. And all you have to do is use that app, scan the barcodes of items that you buy at the grocery store. It'll tell you exactly where that palm oil is coming from and whether it's sustainable or not. Jake has gotten a little bit distracted. I think we still have some snacks for him, but something has caught his eye, something tastier than the snacks we got, I guess. Either way, I'm going to keep talking about them. So again, Palm Oil Scan, an excellent way to directly support their conservation. Another great way to support them is by doing this. Being here at the Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance, supporting our mission as a conservation organization to inspire communities to save wildlife for future generations. Just by being here today, you all are helping to save wildlife both here in Colorado and around the world. So thank you all so much for joining us. Jake has gone off to find some other snacks.